Reactions have continued to trail appointments of administrators for the 23 local government areas of the state. The sole administrator for Rivers State, Vice Admiral Ibok Iteibas, retired, approved the appointment of the 23 administrators. He also approved the constitution of some board of agencies, commissions, and parastatals, which he had earlier suspended. This was announced in a special government announcement issued on Wednesday morning by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Ibibia Warika. The appointments take immediate effect. Well, for more on this development, APC Chieftain Chibike Kenga joins me on the news this hour. Thank you so much for joining me at this point. Now, there has been several criticisms on the appointment made by Vice Admiral Ibokite Bass, retired. Now, what's your reaction on this particular appointment to the 23 local government areas of Rivers State made by the sole administrator?
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon. Expectedly, you should understand the fact that some of those who are suspended, if not all of them, will cry foul because their positions have been taken by some others. But it is important to also say that as a cardinal principle of this acting governor or the sole administrator, he wants to appear, and he must be seen to appear like he is appearing, to be neutral, so as to be responsible, to take complete responsibility on all the issues and positions taken while he is in charge under his purview. So he doesn't want politicians who had already been appointed there to come to jaundice whatever thing that he's doing. So he's on the right path, particularly at the local government level. You know, that's the most relevant part of the government where the grassroots are concerned. So we must at all times ensure that we take along the grassroots, which are closest to the people. So those appointments are important first for neutrality, to ensure that every decision and position taken by this government, he will completely take charge and be sure that whatever he does translates to that neutrality. I'm sure that's the reason why he's asking them to step aside, why he takes people that work with him.
What about the legitimacy of his appointments? Because there are concerns and questions about the sole administrator's power to make such kinds of appointments. Does he have such powers to make these appointments?
Well, the president and the National Assembly did appoint him, and they gave him terms of reference. And I'm sure that he's complying with the laid-down procedures, particularly as gazetted.
All right. So in all of this now, how fast will he be able to mend fences before the expiration of the 6 months?
Yes, I think he's on the right trajectory. If I live in Port Harcourt, I'm here. Things are beginning to cool down. The political temperature is coming down seriously. We are beginning to count our losses as politicians and those who, one way or the other, fan the embers of this crisis. So I'm sure the heads are cooling. And as far as we are concerned, once the administrator and those who appointed him are sure that everything, because they have the security reports, which we do not have access to, they also have other relevant information that could help to try to ensure that the place is calmer. So once it is confirmed that everything is okay, then the proper things be done accordingly.
All right. So there are court orders, and there's a court order, and of course we have seen the likes of PANDEF, some CSOs, others going and kicking against the appointments of the local government administrators in Rivers State, and so that led to the question I asked about how this is going to pan out in the coming days and weeks. But looking at this situation now, does this mean that there's a brewing crisis coming up, seeing that there's a court order already stopping him from appointing the sole administrators in the local governments?
No, there's no court order stopping him. The court order asks that he be put on notice. So there's no order outrightly asking that he shouldn't go ahead to appoint. Besides, no agency of government, no arm of government has the responsibility of stopping another arm of government from performing, except it breaches its own rules. So on the issue of PANDEF, like we have always known, is partisan. They are part of the crisis in Rivers State. So you'd expect that if things are not going their way, they'll continue to exacerbate the crisis to the point that they want to be in charge of everything. Particularly those who had PANDEF, we all know them. We know their sentiments, we know their interests. They do not wish River State good. They do not wish peace around this area. We know those gladiators at Pandef. They are not happy that things are coming down. They want it to continue to do what they want to do to foster their own ethnic advantage, and we don't want that here in River State. Then for other CSOs, quite a lot of them are appendages to the immediate past government. And at the time the infractions were committed against House of Assembly and other and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, they were mute and they didn't say anything. So why are they shouting blue murder now that the administrator is trying to put everything together and ensure complete neutrality and impartiality?
All right, so looking at the Rivers crisis now, what do you think will be the solution? Is there a political solution to all of this crisis?
Yeah, we had always believed that there is a political solution. What we expect at this time is let everybody tone down the rhetorics. Let people start to think why we should. In the first place, we ought not to have been here. It was an avoidable crisis. At this point that we have this advantage of a state of emergency, we should come together, close ranks, and begin to think one Rivers. We believe that Rivers is one people, and then we must ensure that our actions, utterances, and inactions must support this position. So we see ourselves as one state and begin to drive our development pursuit.
All right, so you stay in River State now. Can you tell us the pulse of the people regarding all of these developments that's happening in River State at this time, especially with the appointment of the sole administrators in the local government?
Yeah, usually you know that we have become politically divisive with all that had happened for about 2 years now. And it is expected that some persons will be happy and some will not be happy. But generally, looking at the entire state with the prevailing peace, people are happy that things are beginning to cool and the people can go about their businesses unchallenged. Remember that since the sole administrator took over, we have not had some miscreants and crisis entrepreneurs threatening to blow down the assets of the Nigerian government and then try to intimidate others. So we are happy as Rivers people. Generally speaking, that does not mean that there are some who are not unhappy. The fact that some of them have lost their positions and some of them are not, some of them are not happy because things are not going the way they had already planned, to try to exclude others, to try to intimidate others, to try to divide the state. But the sole administrator is doing his best possible to ensure that some of those things are taken to the backseat.
Is the sole administrator undermining the legal process in this appointment?
No, he cannot do so because he's a creation of law himself, so he must abide by the laws.
I ask because there are lawyers who have been speaking and alluding to the fact that he is undermining the legal process in these appointments.
Well, if there are some lawyers who think so, they should go to court and challenge the position. But all I know is that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the National Assembly did consider all the factors before they proclaim the state of emergency, and then through the Gazette, I'm sure the National Assembly did spell out completely what they saw administration to do, what areas he has to go to, and what. Those are the things he's dealing with right now, and we think he's on the right trajectory.
All right, APC Chief Tenchi BK Kinga, thank you so much for joining me.